Hello everyone and welcome back to EPIC48 here at Kettering with Intel. I'm a new face on the camera today, which is quite nice this morning.
Yeah,
so
it's
hello,
nice to
Abby.
see.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise, it's good to be on the Epic broadcast. I mean, again, I've done obviously the first game this morning, but it's very good to have a familiar face to the Epic scene with me today.
Yeah, it's great to be back. It's been a while since I've been back, but yes, here at EPIC48 with Intel, sponsored by ROG and XP Pro Eyewear.
Yeah,
great sponsors for the event as well as
very
Overclockers.
much so. I was about to say we did forget Overclockers, but that's all right. I'm sure they'll forgive us for that one. But no, very good to be back. Very good to get into game number 3. We've had two very exciting games previously.
Wow.
Yeah, but the first one not quite as close as it could have been. The second game though, that was a good one.
Yes, that was very much indeed. That was getting like down to the wire.
Definitely.
And it was really nice to see an appearance from Gunster on a Valorant stream.
I tell you, Jack Destroy 4 was incredibly happy and proud of himself to get Gumpster on a cast, so very good to see that one coming through today.
100%. So, Avi, talk us a little bit about a rundown of what game number 3 has got in store for us.
Game number 3, I certainly can. We've got Pick and Mix yet again facing off against Aconite. Aconite, I believe, to be one of the stronger looking teams we've got coming into this one. We've got quite a few not reigning champions, we've got quite a few champions of past Epic lands here, as well as actually some newcomers, which is nice to see. So we've got what I've got written here, Misu, Hayden, Bubs as the champions of previous Epics, and Mars, not done quite as well in previous Epics, made out on groups the last land, but not quite as strong a performance. And Daniel, first Epic land for this player here.
I mean, first lands are always nerve-wracking, that's for sure, and Daniel will definitely be feeling the pressure, but that being said, they have got a few veterans on their team, so they are no stranger to, with them having their backs up against the walls, as well as victory. So,
Yeah,
Daniel is in good
isn't it?
hands.
Definitely so, and obviously we've been through Pick and Mix. Jack and Gumster gone through that in good detail, so hoping we'll see some great matchups today. We've already seen Pick and Mix play, and they did really well today.
Yeah, they've been putting on a really good performance from what I've seen, so they definitely do not need any introduction.
Not at all.
And we look like we're going to be going into Veto.
That indeed. Hopefully, some interesting picks. So we just saw Summit, which was a bit of a weird one, but Haven, yet again, going to be that pickup. It makes the most amount of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the Valorant map you always want to pick. It's the safest option for a lot of these teams.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Haven is a very tried and true map for Valorant in its, since its infancy. It's always been that go-to map. Like you said, very safe option. Don't want to be, pushing the boat out a little bit. We did see Summit in the last one, like you said, very interesting pick, that's for sure. I mean, we are only in group stages, so, there's not much riding on the line per se at the moment. As the event progresses on, stakes do increase, but
absolutely
in group stages, a bit more wiggle.
Well, that's the nice thing about this group stage. Obviously, every team proceeding through into our bracket stage, but it does come down to seeding at the end of the day and getting to grips with sort of your matchups against certain teams as well. So even though everyone's making it through into playoffs and bracket here, you still want a good performance. You still want to find your footing early so you can take that momentum coming into later stages of this LAN.
Oh, 100%, like you said. Yeah, even though, there's a lot of wiggle room for these group stages, you want to be putting your best foot forward.
Always.
That determines, like you said, the seeding going into playoffs, and that could fully determine the outcome of your LAN, run, essentially. Because, no one wants to be down that bottom seeding, because that becomes a bit of a mountain to climb.
Yeah, it does get that little bit more tricky, but as I said before, some of the bottom seeds are, I'd argue, the more interesting to watch, because you see a lot of the more interesting picks coming out. You see teams that don't quite have that same sort of cohesion as a lot of the top teams, and that's more fun to watch, I'd argue. But I think this one, fair enough to say, between two of the stronger teams we have here at EPIC48.
Oh yeah, I mean, the fact that they've gone for Haven as well does not surprise me. Those top teams, they'll be gunning for that top seed, so they're going to be making sure that they ban all the maps that they definitely don't want to be picking and going for those safe options. So,
yeah, very much so.
The teams that definitely want this, which would arguably be all of them, but you can definitely see, especially in the map that they're going with in this group stage, you can definitely kind of get a bit of a feel of, where they're at in terms of their headspace and which direction they want to be going in.
Yeah, I think part of the thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing, especially on this Haven, is the aggression, because we had Haven on that first map between D&D and Highland Baddies, and we didn't really see much of the aggression coming through from D&D, and Highland Baddies took control. So I'm hoping that with these two teams, Pick and Mix and Aconite, we're going to see a bit more of that, hoping that we're going to see some aggression, see people just running straight down mid, straight down long, hopefully trying to take back some of the control, just really trying to take every part of the map for yourself, not letting anyone from the opposite side take anything back.
Yeah, that dynamic competition is something that'd be really nice to see. Like you said, Haven, it can be quite a slow map in a sense, because 3 sites, there's a lot of area that you need to cover, and teams initially within like the first minute want to kind of get a bit of a scope out and try and gather a bit of information. So yeah, it can be quite slow, but like on the flip side, there's a lot of room for that aggression, which I think arguably is the much more fun way to enjoy Valorant.
It's the most fun way to watch, it's the most fun to cast over, but I think part of the biggest thing in my eyes, we've seen that defensive play on Haven before and it has struggled. It almost feels like the kind of map where you have to read your opponent very early. Are you going to play slow versus a slow team, or are you going to play fast against a fast team? You cannot do anything in between in my eyes.
No, it's very difficult. Like, only truly top tier teams or truly coordinated teams can afford to change the pacings, at a flip of the switch, because like you said, Haven, there's a lot of room for error, and like you said, you need to have a good read on your opponents, good understanding of the pacing of the game in order to have a dynamic switch in flow, speed, defensive play, aggressive play. There's a lot of room for error, and teams need to be on the ball in order to capitalize on their victories in the coming rounds.
That they do, and it is a tough one, especially on this kind of map, but I'm hoping that these two, I'd argue, top teams are going to be the ones to take control early. They want to set the pace, they want to take that control early, really set the tone for the rest of the series.
Oh yeah, I think like you said, like talking about these two teams, I think how this map is played out kind of dictates the flow in which potentially the rest of this tournament could be going through.
Very much
right?
so.
Because depending on either performance, we could be looking at maybe a Pick and Mix being more dominant throughout the rest of this tournament, or it could be Aconite. That being said, as lands go, anything can happen. Yeah, anything could happen, especially
Most
here
definitely.
at Epic Land and Catering.
Yeah, I think that's the fun thing. Obviously, this is my first Epic LAN, but we've seen some insane things happening already. Like, obviously, excluding the Valorant aspect, we've been through Kahoot on the opening ceremony. We've been through some sort of fun little other games. We've got the community side as well, which is a massive part that I've been enjoying. We had TF2 last night. I love Team Fortress 2. That is my kind of game.
Yeah, TF2 is a very fun game. A lot of the OGs will most certainly enjoy it. Probably not half of the Zoomers that take part in like Valorant these days. They don't even know what that game is.
I know. TF2.
I think TF2 was probably made before half of them were born. I'll be honest.
Say that. When was it? 2007, I think. That's not too much younger than I am, I'll say.
About 19. About 19 years old. That game could be.
Yeah. That is a bit of a crazy thought, because there are most likely players here at Epic Land 48 that are younger than a game like that.
100%.
Which is insane to think about.
Yeah. That's quite a scary thought. It makes me feel really old, which is quite depressing. But we're going into Agent Select now, here onto Haven. So Aconite locking in double duelists with Reyna and Jet. Sage for their Sentinel, which is an interesting pick. You don't really see Sage too often, so it's going to be really interesting to see how Hayden is going to be piloting this agent. And it's nice to see Clove as well, especially on a map like Haven, with it being so spread out and so open.
You say that, but a lot of the control that Clove brings with sort of those closer range smokes, that's really useful, and I do like that a lot. Obviously, you get the after death smoke, which is it's neither here nor there. It's not too useful at times. But part of it, in my eyes, Clove is just a consistent pick where you can make anything happen, and I like that a lot. Especially, I'm a Clove player myself. I very much enjoy just the sort of control that you can gain with that sort of pick. But I'd argue as well, Pick and Mix currently hovering over that Omen, that's more of that. That brings you that more map-wide control as opposed to just site-wide for the Clove.
Yeah, I'm very much more used to seeing Omens a lot of the time. But in terms of the double duelists for the side of Pick and Mix, Neon and Jet. So both running the Jets. Reyna for Aconite is I wouldn't say an interesting choice. I like the choice. I like Reyna. I'm a very much I'm a Reyna fan. Neon, yes, very much so.
Oh dear.
But Neon obviously had a fair few changes to her kit, so she's not as fast or dynamic now. But on the side of Pick and Mix, they have opted for the Chamber as their sentinel. So, you know, Chamber very, you know, quick with their rendezvous, so they can cover, you know, multiple points of the map in quick succession, which is quite nice. And then just using the Sky as their initiator to round things out. So in terms of team composition diversity, it's quite well spread, which is really nice, which is something you don't really see too often, especially on maps like Haven or Ascent, all these maps that have been around for so long. It's nice to see how diverse the composition is, and I'm looking forward to seeing how both these teams are going to be piloting these compositions.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up.
That's quite all right, but we are going to get things kicked off here. But both sides opting for a bit of an opposite play. Aconite making a rush down A long for the time being, as Pick and Mix a bit the opposite over on that C long side.
Yeah, I mean, pistol rounds, they're trying to want to just get them in, and straight quick read from Pick and Mix. Yeah, they're just going to be opting to move away. They're just going to give sight to Aconite, just letting them free reign. But you can see that Sova hanging back, just waiting for anyone on the flanks. But what they might not be counting on is the fact that there's 3 there. They spotted one. Out comes the stun. Oh, Misu covering 5 for them, so it's a trade for 2 for 2.
Yeah, it's a game of trades for the time being. They do make sure Daniel, yeah, finds 2 already. As it's just Pants left for Pick and Mix off to the side. Not really in much of a position. They've got that double stack on Fox here. Finds one. They do manage to crossfire there, so there's a bit of a gap here, potentially for Pants to run into. Does get smoked off for the time being. Looks around the corner, but Daniel, a third, clean, lined up with the shot, and there's nothing that you can really do there if you're Pants.
Exactly that. I mean, Sheriff in hand can do a lot of damage. We're able to get 2 kills on the board, but not enough to clutch it out for Pick and Mix. Aconite, once they got sight, put themselves into a nice advantageous position, and I would argue that the success of that round came from Misu covering Mars in that initial engagement on the flank.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. A lot of it very much on Daniel for getting those picks, but it's the initiate you've got to go for here, and that's what we saw from Misu, the initiate and then the peel back too, which is not something we see much of in Valorant. That's more of an Overwatch and League type thing, but the peel support, that's the kind of play you need from a team game like this, and that's just really smart play from Aconite.
Now's moving into round number 2. Aconite going in for another aggressive push, you know, trying to take control early. Oh, but Zowie finding Misu with the classic. Classic versus Vandal. You very much expect Vandal to come out on top, but Zowie holding down, but Mars able to clean it out with the Guardian. Oh, Pants taking Mars down, followed with the Sheriff. Kill. Now, Favor, in terms of numbers, is going over to Pick and Mix in a disadvantaged situation, which is not the way the script normally goes.
I don't think so, not at all, but Hayden is up on this box looking for a little bit of a pick, but Daniel the one to find 2 onto Clean and Nebula. There's not really a lot you can do. Pants again in a 1v3. Sheriff in hand looking for shots, not able to find these. Daniel, back-to-back triple kills.
Daniel is on fire this morning.
Yeah.
Well, I say afternoon now. We've kind of reached the 12 o'clock mark, but
well, only just.
Yeah, only just. Who's really counting?
Well, no, but this is a great start for Daniel. An Epic Land newcomer, already 6-0 against a team like Pick and Mix. That is a fantastic start. No pressure. Not feeling any of it on LAN.
No. I know, I did say they might be coming in with those first LAN nerves, but I think they've turned those nerves into adrenaline, and they're capitalizing on it and fueling, you know, their spirits, and they're starting, you know, 2 rounds in, 6-0, which is a fantastic scoreline. So be getting close to getting the jet knives out. Ooh, but Clean going in with an over-ambitious attempt, running in with the Odin. Pants is able to find Daniel, taking them out. So the star for Aconite is down and out for the count. So they've got to rely on the Reyna for Misu to initiate in. Oh, but Zowie's going to be finding them through the smoke. So Misu down and out. Now, Pick and Mix finding themselves on the forefront, but Bobs finds Nebula's head in spectacular fashion, and Mars is able to follow up with it and kill for themselves an elimination onto Pants. Oh, but it's going to get swiftly taken down before they get traded out.
Yeah, that was really smart, really nice. I like that from both sides. It was a bit of a unstoppable force meets a movable object, and I like seeing that sort of stuff here, but he's just doused here looking See if we can find anything. Does catch the sight of the clove, but that does force Aconite to potentially back away. Bubs does have Spike in hand, so just make a run straight on over, but does get caught out by that trip.
Yeah, so the trademark is going to be spotting
30 seconds left.
Bubs over onto C site, so it has notified them. 25 seconds left. Spike planted down to 45 seconds before that spike now blows up. So Douse has got time against them now. It's a 1v2 situation. It can be done, but look at the area coverage that Aconite are claiming. They've got Bubs right close up onto site. Yeah, and that's all they needed.
Yeah, that was a bit unlucky for Douse swinging around their knife in hand, but I just want to bring attention to Hayden. Odin down on over towards attacker's side spawn. That's a bit of a risky one, but you know, I like the vision on it.
Yeah, Omen down C-Long, not your, your typical to go to. You'd probably normally like to hold it in garage, but with 2 players left, I mean, you want to just keep as many areas covered as possible. And where the spike was planted, sitting down for C-Long was your best option.
Oh, definitely. And I don't think there's any arguing in saying that Bubs had control of it.
Oh, 100%. Oh, Daniel the Outlaw kicking things off. Very, very fast tailwind into updraft. Oh, but Panther's going to take them down. Trying to use that Blaze Storm, but finds nothing.
Massively aggressive from both sides here. Hayden making his way all the way around. Wrapping around through into spawn, but there's nothing really to do here.
And Aconite taking full control of this series so far. Pick and Mix very much on the back foot. Douse once again on their lonesome. It's a 1v4 situation. That Headhunter can do a lot, but only if you can find the mark, which they fully missed.
Well, it is the Headhunter, and if you can't find those heads, it's not doing a great deal, especially in that 1v4. But Aconite, they're really taking swift control of this game. It does feel very much like they're just both going out all offensive, and I like seeing this. It's more interesting to watch, it's more engaging, and apart from anything else, it's the way you want to play this map. You want to try and go aggressive, especially against this sort of team, and both sides are really going at it. I like this a lot.
I would very much agree with you there, Abby. The aggressive plays from both sides are going to be working out. Oh, but Daniel's going to get caught by near-sighted smoke, so they're not going to be able to find it. Misu finding Pants, nicely done. Good start to the round. Spike is going to be hanging back a little bit with Mars, but it looks like they're going to be making way forward. But Douse could be meeting a few members of Aconite, but taking out the Owl Drone.
Yeah, Misu does get thrown onto the back though.
Wrap around.
Not expecting that for Douse, but that's a clean take onto C-Site for Aconite, and Pick and Mix don't really have much of a response to anything there.
No, they do not. Now with the Hunter's Fury online, Mars can just sit back, chill, wait for that sound of the spike to go off before popping anything. So up until then, Mars doesn't really have to do anything. They can just rely on the teammates. It is a 4v3 in favor of Aconite.
Yeah, trying to catch on to something. Zowie will be able to get the blind onto Bubs, but rezzed up immediately, trying to find something, trying to even the score a little bit, but Bubs has to get us something, not at all. Flash around the corner, but Misu clean onto clean, but Zowie able to trade that one back.
Last player standing.
As Hayden sat away with the Odin in garage, as we said earlier, and there's really nothing for Zowie to do here at all.
No, there was not. Aconite had full control of that final segment of the game. Yes, they've lost a few members, but it was to of no avail for the side of Pick and Mix. They lost control as soon as they were trying to go for that retake and the timeout coming in. And I'd say arguably at a really good moment. They're 5-0 down. The pressure's starting to mount onto them. They need a moment to get that reset.
Yeah, very much so. And it is the smart timing for Pick and Mix to take one. You've just lost 5 rounds on the bounce. You've been, I wouldn't say you've been struggling, because they've been contesting these angles really nicely, but they've just not been able to clean it up.
No, it's just these small, minute mistakes that they're making that are costing them the rounds, right? So, they're going in, able to find the flashes, but they're not able to, check the corners. Like, there was an instance where they're going on to B site, right? Sky flashes in through the close smoke. They didn't check the corners. and they got punished for it. It would have been a free kill for them.
That they did.
You know, I think it was onto Miso that got full blinded.
Yes.
You know, taking out that Reyna, a lot of utility would have been gone out. You know, a lot of you know, opportunities for them to dismiss. Devour. You know, get their life up. Would have been a good kill. Extra money on the board, but again, it's these small mistakes that the pick and mix are making.
It really is, and it does feel part of it is these small mistakes for pick and mix, but it also feels like Aconite are just the ones to take control so aggressively. They have, even if they don't have necessarily the right angles, they have the right team play.
100%.
It feels very much more like they want to play as a 5 stack, and I like that a lot because you have to play with your cohort. And they're doing really well here. They're playing groups, taking control of the site, and then there's pick and mix split. There's not really a lot they can do off of that.
No, I like the idea that pick and mix are trying to like cover more angles, right? Aconite not going for the aggressive start that they normally do, so they have got Miso pushing up into the mid, just trying to get some eyes and ears. Aldrin is going to be spotting clean, however, so they are going to have to be running out.
Yeah, but not really a lot you can do when Daniel's got an up. Downers finds two.
Oh,
not sure about that one onto Doused, but I don't think Aconite are going to complain about that at all.
No, they're not. You mean, Douse, they heard the initial op shot, so they went to peek out of Garage, but they didn't realize that that op barrel was staring them right down in the face as soon as they peeked out. So, again, Aconite taking full control, so they started this round off slowly. They were playing back, they were waiting for pick and mix to come to them, and they've been reaping the rewards. Oh my goodness! Pants just wanted to just check to see if anyone was down long, and they lost their head for it. And now as Zowie gets tagged by the recon dart, it is all they wrote, and Hayden just sitting pretty, waiting for the flanks, and Nebula's going to get punished for it. And Aconite, again, full control. Timeout is supposed to be a good opportunity for them to reset, but nothing came out of it.
Absolutely nothing, and I think that was perfectly executed from Aconite. They normally go for that aggressive opening, and they knew that Pick and Mix wanted to capitalize off of it, so they found that right read. Just say, you know what? Let's play back a second. Let's take a second to breathe, then take back. Then go on the offensive when Pick and Mix have made that little one step too far. I liked it. It was really smart, and honestly, it did feel like Pick and Mix just got dominated in that round.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Honestly, it looks like Pick and Mix are getting completely picked apart, and Aconite are just reading them like a book. They have a good understanding of their gameplay, what it is that they're trying to do, what they aim for. Aconite, they understand their win condition. They understand the way that they need to play, and you can see it in how coordinated they are. When they're aggressive, they're aggressing as a 5-man team, but the slow play that they're applying, they're really putting Pick and Mix on the edge because they've almost conditioned them for that aggressive play. And now that they've changed up the tempo, it's starting to cause Pick and Mix to think or be confused. And you can kind of see like how they're situating. Like you got players that are unsure of whether they want to stay, whether they want to rotate, where they're situated. You can see that the Neon and Omen, they are set up in Garage just for the trade. But in terms of where the Sky and Chamber are, if that Sky falls, it's going to be a bit of a journey for Chamber to make their way through. Now with Zowie falling, you can see that Miso is going to start taking control. And Douse, they've got a bit of an uphill battle. But Bubs is going to pick one up. Daniel going to be finding hands. But
okay, they find two. This is a good start for them, but spike down onto that B side, and there's really not a lot up in hand for Douse, though. We'll find another onto Daniel, but Mars around this corner, not really checking, and it's just clean.
Valorant 101, check them corners.
Always, but I think the thing to point out in my eyes was just how in the head Aconite, they just got completely into the heads of Pick and Mix. They not only took control of physical game, they took control of the mind game as well. You pointed it out earlier, but Pick and Mix, they've almost been conditioned into this sort of aggressive angle. And Aconite are just taking control of everything now because they are so conditioned to these fast plays. Aconite know when it's time to slow it down. That's the amazing thing for this team. And they're looking incredibly strong, 7-0.
Yes, it's a really good scoreline for them to be on. And they understand the situation that they're in. Oh, but Pants and Nebula are going to kick things off. Sheriff in tow. I mean, if you hit that head, it's so deadly. Daniel having to use both of their smoke screens in order to just keep themselves safe. And Nebula backing off. not trying to bite off more than they can chew.
Okay.
Zowie finding one. Can they find another?
Pants gets another onto Daniel, but hang on.
Wait a second.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Thrifty going for the side of Pick-a-Mix.
I don't think they're going to complain about that one at all. That was
Absolutely not.
beautiful play from Pick-a-Mix to get their first round on the board. They knew exactly the timing because they've now been conditioned into that slow play. So they read that and mounted the counter. That was the smart thing to do for Pick-a-Mix. And you know what? They countered that passiveness with their own aggression. I really like that a lot for them.
I definitely.
It was very good play for.
It worked out really well because that
Pick-a-Mix.
Thrifty round, a lot of value because not only did they, eliminate them with very few guns, but the Aconite had a lot in the arsenal.
Oh,
and
okay,
but clean. Running down with the Odin. You can see they're just running through their spawn.
Yeah, look how aggressive they're playing it. That's already 3 down for Aconite.
And you can see that Clean has got the backup from Nebula, so if one falls... Oh, but Misu is too clean with it. Nebula not able to cover their teammate. And now as we pop the Empress, Misu, can they be the queen to sit on their team's throne? No, they're going to fall down. Bubs, not able to find one.
Yeah, Pants is just insane with those. Does get blinded up. Zowie accidentally hitting the blind onto Pants, and Bubs picks up 2 off of it. It is just doused left. Does have a fair bit left in hand, but it's not looking good. Managed to get the read onto C though. Gets the shot. And the op clean down long onto Bubs. That's exactly what you need for Pick-a-Mix. They're really picking up a little bit of steam here. It's taken them a while, but they're finally on the board and finally managing to take back some of this control from Aconite.
The momentum is starting to shift, and they're arriving fashionably late to this party, I would say.
Yeah, fashionably late is good to put it. It has taken them a little bit, but they finally managed to do it, and they're looking good.
They started to find their stride. They started to understand the way that they need to orchestrate themselves as a team, especially against Aconite. I think they might have been a little bit too familiar with the playstyles of the teams prior, but now they're starting to find their steps, find their stride. And you can see that now both teams, their aggression has come to a halt. They're both starting to wait and feel out what is going to be happening, what either side is going to be opting for. And now we're in a bit of a waiting game, Avi.
Very much so. They've both gotten into each other's heads, really, because they've both been trying to counter each other so much over the last 2 rounds. They're trying to sort of counter the counter.
Oh, yeah.
And it's led to sort of nothing happening, which is really interesting to watch because now no one really knows what to do. This is a sort of slow play you expect to see in a tac shooter like this, but it's very interesting to see that neither side willing to break, neither side willing to make that step because they know that the one that breaks this sort of, what's what I'm looking for? Stalemate, that's the word. The one to break the stalemate is the one to potentially lose out immediately. But Aconite know they have to be the ones aggressing here.
I mean, 30 seconds left on the clock. Time is against him, and Daniel's going to kick things off. Nebula out of position. Oh, but Pants is able to find one. Going to be popping the ultimate to revive himself. Clean finding Misu with the Odin. Hailstorm. Blade-Storm is going to get popped. Oh, but it's all lighting up green for Pick-a-Mix as they just tear through Aconite. And the scoreline is 7-3 as we're approaching our last 2 rounds. And Pick-a-Mix really started to find their stride.
Absolutely fantastic turn from Pick-a-Mix. Perfectly timed read to see them on that C site. And then Pants and Clean, they were clean with it. I don't know what else to say about that because Pants sliding through, Clean sliding through. There wasn't anything you could answer that with.
No, textbook execution. I mean, Daniel did have a good start, eliminating Nebula right as attacking was happened, but wasn't able to follow up much more from that, and Aconite just fell to pieces.
You can't exactly blame them though, because it feels like Pick-a-Mix had the perfect time read on it. That said though, Pants again finds that early pick onto Hayden. Pants has been picking up a lot of things here, but Nebula gets a blind over, and Misu falling early. That's not what you want to see for Aconite. Been a big player here, but there you go.
Oh my goodness.
They're taking control of this C site, and it's just Mars left with nothing in hand. Does get a pick onto Nebula. Bulldog doing a little bit of work, but gets forced back with the concuss as Doused swinging round with the ARP.
See, if Mars had a Vandal there, that would have been a kill, but the Bulldog,
Last round.
it's not a one-shot headshot, unfortunately.
Not
So,
quite.
you know, they were quicker on the trigger, but their arsenal was against them.
You can be quick on the trigger, but if your gun isn't good enough, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. But that's 4 picked up off the back of a 7-round loss for Pick and Mix. This is exactly the turn you need after a bad start, and they're looking really good after this.
Oh, 100%. The momentum has definitely shifted. They're starting to ride it. So the best that Pick and Mix are able to find in this first half is going to be a 7-5-2 Aconite. But are Aconite going to allow this to happen? You can see how aggressive both sides are
Clean
going to
is
be.
hiding.
Yeah, Clean, finding Bubs,
Spike down.
finding a second.
Hang on, Nebula though, coming through spawn.
Oh, yeah, that's
For something else, making a grass. Here we go. But Nebula in the back brings it down to just Hayden. Does have that res up. We'll be able to pick up Daniel, but Doused and Nebula still up with a bit of a pincer coming through onto Asua here.
Bit of a danger sandwich. Oh, but Douse just unscopes
the
at the
arc.
worst time.
Oh, Doused.
Oh no! That is. I really hope that's a misclick from Douse.
That's unlucky timing
That is-
at its. I would say it's fine, but at its worst,
That's-
isn't it?
Yeah, that's Valorant timing at its worst.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot you can do about that. But Nebula, if you want anyone in that final 1v2, you do want it to be Nebula. This man, cold, plays it perfectly, knows his timing, does have that smoke available, so we'll be able to get a half for the time being. Gets swung on though.
Oh my god, wait.
Goes through, tries to catch onto Daniel, gets it with a shorty.
Oh!
But Hayden, that's 4, catches it with the classic as well. As Aconite, they managed to bring it back to an 8-4.
That was so close. That misplay from Douse arguably cost them that round.
Arguably, yes, but you can't exactly blame him for that. It was such a close one there. It's Valorant timing at its worst.
yeah.
You can't exactly argue when we see it all the time. You drop your scope, you bring your knife out at the worst possible time.
You look away. Yeah, it's one of just those. It's one like, you know, death, taxes, Valorant timing, the 3 assured things in life.
Absolutely, and it is the worst thing to see, but alas, this is the 3 things we have as your inevitabilities in life. But oh well, this is sort of a staple for Valorant, sort of a staple for Epic Clan at the very least.
That being said, an 8-4 scoreline,
Especially
not
after
bad.
going
Oh,
down
yeah.
7-0.
7-0.
This
Yeah.
is incredible for Pick and Mix, but we're going to see how they do on this. We're going to see how this works for them. We do have a bit of a tech pause for the time being, but I think that gives us more of an opportunity to sort of see how do Pick and Mix come back into this, really. Is they on this defensive half now? Was it?
Yeah, they were defending first half, so they're switching over to attack now. So
I don't know Valorant very well.
it's going to be really interesting to see how both teams are going to be playing out, because we've seen how aggressive Aconite were in, you know, the first half of the first half, but towards that the middle stages and the second half of the first half, they started to slow the gameplay down. They're trying to, you know, pace the game for themselves, and they tried to take control. And as the game started to progress, you could see that Pick and Mix was slowly starting to pick apart, no pun intended,
Like it.
and understand their gameplay. So I'm going to predict that Pick and Mix are going to start off slow, trying to get a bit of a feel, see what Aconite are going to do. I think Pick and Mix, if they're going to play this how I think they might, I think they're going to allow Aconite to make the first move and then respond in turn.
Question is, you're 8-4 down. Can you afford to do that if you are Pick and Mix? Because that's, if you play it that split second too slow, you've potentially lost the whole game, because if you don't have too many rounds left to spare, you go down, you lose that first pistol, and that's pretty much the next round after that lost to, or potentially that bonus as well. That's a little bit tricky to call, but you lose 3 rounds, that's 11-4. You don't want to go down to that at all.
On the flip side, you could say that Pick and Mix could just try and be really aggressive and try to, you know, just steamroll their way through, but then that also comes at the cost of, you know, missed timing, like the communications, you know, being outplaced, not covering positions.
Yeah.
You know, I think whichever way you look at it, whether they try to take control of the pacing of the game or they just try to, you know, push forward and be really aggressive, there are a lot of deficits to either side from Pick and Mix. So being on that back foot does not give them, like you said, a lot of wiggle room. There's not a lot of room for error.
Not at
So
all.
it's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to play this out.
It is incredibly tough for them, but they are just going to, as you said, play a little bit slow, drop that spike down early. They've got a bit of a thought process. They want to play off towards this C site for now, you can tell, but they just want to scout it out for the time being. See what they can do. That's the one to make the push onto speed.
Yeah, I'm really curious why they're letting Douse push up so far, especially when they're like the rendezvous is a little bit further back. I would expect more than
no
Daniel
available.
getting caught by that relay shot, but Misu and Mars picking up 2 for Aconite.
Yeah, that's the A site push gone for Pick and Mix. They have to commit to C now, but Bubs catches out Doused on that rotate to C, and
behind Gong there.
yeah, it's not exactly what you want to see, but that is good timing for them as Pants does get caught out a little bit, has Bandit in hand, so looking to try and do something here. Nebula though gets the blind, will be able to get traded out, but 11 for Pants, and it's Misu off on long just to find it, and it's clean. It's not difficult for Aconite at all.
No, Aconite, they played that really well. Like I said earlier, I mean, whichever way Pick and Mix wanted to play this, it was going to be very difficult for them because with how much of a lead Aconite have. And now that they've won the pistol round, it's going very much more in their favor going into, their Aconite's buy round. You know, they're looking to take this to 10-4, and then you'd be expecting Pick and Mix to take the conversion to 10-5. But again, it's Valorant.
It's Valorant. Anything can happen, but you've lost that first pistol, especially when you're down. I mentioned it earlier, but Pick and Mix, they've got to try and make something happen here. Take as many guns as they can off of Aconite to try and really limit their bonus, because it's not looking good for them at the moment.
No. At this point in the game, it's going to come down to the players' psychology and their mental fortitude. Because as the rounds start creeping ever so closer to the end of the game, the pressure starts to mount. So depending on how each of the players deal with that pressure, it's going to be up to debate. But
incredibly well by the look of things. Yeah, they're just going to slide on through, running. No lack of confidence at all. And then that's 5 on site immediately. They've lost 3 for Aconite, and there's not really anything left for them. They've got a few pistols in hand, but this is on the conversion. You wouldn't expect this at all from Pick and Mix.
No, you'd very much be expecting Aconite be taking this round fully in their favor, but Pick and Mix using sheer force of numbers to just overwhelm Aconite and just brute force their way into A site. And it worked out really well for them because they're able to pick out some guns, Stinger, Phantom for themselves. I don't know, honestly, Pick and Mix have done incredibly well to win out in spectacular fashion, and now Aconite are in such a deficit, it's not looking good for them.
Massively so, and this is exactly what I wanted to see from Pick and Mix. Answer some of the more aggressive holds from Aconite with that offense, and they've done that perfectly. They just ran round the corner, and that's all you needed. You don't need anything else.
Yeah, and you can look in the arsenal now. So Aconite, they won the pistol round, lost the second, and now they're just down to sheriffs. Yeah. So their economy has been completely gutted, and now Pick and Mix are able to take this in full swing with extra cash to spare. Using the blind to just kick things off. The wall not going to be able to do too much. It's going to be broken down as fast as it comes up. Clean trying to just spam through with the air raids. Oh, but Hayden with the sheriff gives Pants a very surprising entrance. But Douse and Clean able to pick up 2 for themselves. And again, the momentum swinging in Pick and Mix's favor. I mean, with the arsenal that they're rocking, it's to be expected. What I wasn't expecting was to see 3 players of Aconite rotating through, and Mars is potentially going to be meeting Zowie. But spam through the box.
Yeah, you're not going to argue with that, are you? But it does feel like Pick and Mix, they've found the momentum they need. They've decided, you know what? We need to go aggro, and we need to be the ones to engage, and you know what?
Teleport's ready.
It's working. You can't argue with it.
They're taking it into their stride. Daniel, the lonesome.
Okay.
Star play, however, not able to clean up. Able to find one, but not able to find another. Having those extra 50 shields. Wasn't able to two-tap. Wasn't able to two-tap Zowie, so...
Yeah, but Pick and Mix able to drop 2. That's not really what you want.
No.
They are still able to buy.
Oh, yeah. The economy's still good.
Good.
Yeah. So, you know, Dow sitting on 6.3k, so they are able to buy for Nebula if they really wanted to, but Nebula opting to, you know, purchasing and using their own funds. So we are going into another tech pause.
Yeah, that we are.
So.
But I think the thing that I wanted to just quickly point out there was a massive force buy for Aconite. We just saw before, obviously switching to our beautiful selves. They had gone for full Vandals and then half shields for not a lot left in the tank, which is a bit of a risky play.
Yeah, they tried to go for a huge gamble because if it paid off, it would have worked really well. But, you know, high risk, high reward, and unfortunately they, you know, missed out on it, and they're paying the price for it.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate truth, isn't it? Because they haven't really had much control this second half. They've not really been the aggressors that we have seen from them before. They've played much more passive and then waited for the rotates. But then that's where Pick and Mix have been able to retake that, make those calls, and then take control of those sites.
That 100% would agree with it. So this second half, yes, it started off really good for Aconite. We were expecting, you know, big things going out of the pistol round, but Pick and Mix just taking everything into the stride. Aconite going for these risky plays and these risky purchases, which are not paying off for them. So, you know, even though they are 3 rounds up on Pick and Mix, you know, that gap is going to quickly close with the, you know, with the current state of where these two teams are at.
Yeah, if you had told me at 7-0 that Pick and Mix were mounting a comeback and the ones taking control of the game, taking the momentum through, I wouldn't have believed you.
No.
But that's what we're seeing. Pick and Mix are taking that control. They're the ones dominating the game right now, which sounds crazy. We're looking at a 6-9 scoreline in favor of Aconite, but we can agree on this. Pick and Mix are the ones with the full control of the game.
100%. Right now, in terms of where the momentum has shifted towards, 100% in Pick and Mix's side. So, you know, with this tech pause, it's going to give the teams an opportunity to, especially for Aconite, take a bit of an opportunity to reset themselves. Have got a bit of opportunity to, you know, talk with their, you know, teammates, try and figure out what it is that they're wanting to go forward with, because they're in a bit of a rut right now.
That they are.
So it's a question of, right, how do we get ourselves out and how do we close out this game so we come out on top?
Yeah, I think most of it comes down to the mental game at the moment, because both sides we are very much equal footing, but it does feel, especially after these last few rounds from Pick and Mix, Aconite, they're not playing with the same confidence. They're not feeling themselves nearly as much as they were, and you can't blame them for that after the last few rounds they've had. But you have to take this moment where you have the tech pause, you have a couple minutes to think about it, discuss with your team, just take a second, breathe, have some water. It's always good for you. I recommend it.
Oh yeah,
but
stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. It's very nice and sunny, so I recommend it. But the biggest thing, you have to reset your mental, because after those last few rounds, you're not going to be feeling good about yourself. You're not going to be feeling that confidence. You have to try and bring that back for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people forget how much the psyche can really affect your gameplay. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people do not take into consideration. Once the stress starts mounting, and once, you know, you start getting into a headspace where, you know, the worries and the doubt starts to creep in, you'd be surprised how much it really affects, you know, your performance, like second by second, minute by minute.
It really does, and that's the truth of it. You have to keep mental high, but we'll see what they've done with this, because that tech pause may have proven what Aconite needed here. Hayden does get caught out by Dog, but catches onto 2, clean on that transfer. Pansta's able to get that pick off, but not quite able to finish it off onto Misu, dashing forwards for some reason. But
wanted to eat more bullets.
Absolutely, tasty bullets.
Did not have their breakfast this morning.
Oh, I know, neither did I. I'm quite hungry myself. But alas, that's the kind of thing you need from Aconite. I mean, I don't think anyone was expecting, I don't even think Hayden was expecting that sort of transfer to get to, but you're not going to argue with it, as Mars catches Nebula looking to try and take back some of the control here, but looking to dart down Sewer, not able to find anyone. House tithing off onto Garage. Nebula has a clean walk onto A, not able to take it for the time being though.
No, so they are going to pick up that ultimate orb to get there from the shadows, because you see now that they've cleared out C site. So that was clinical from Nebula. That was a risky play, because if they had fallen,
30 seconds left.
Douse would have had to put their running shoes on to get that spike, but it paid off in the end. The way that they're situated, you can see.
Okay,
Last player
that was something.
Okay, so Misu falls. Bubs is going to get the trade. Nebula on the lonesome. 1v2 situation. Are they going to be able to clutch it out? Daniel Sniper in hand. Ooh, Nebula quick on the trigger.
Yeah, but Bubs is spotted though.
Yep.
Tagged out as well, but Nebula gets it as Bubs tries to make the jump up to get the high ground, but Nebula perfectly timed swing there. And that's what you need in that clutch. You need someone cool, confident, and able to just take the breath and then make the re-engage. And that's perfectly played from Nebula.
Very nicely done from Pick and Mix. So we can see that in terms of ultimates, we do have Aconite with, 3 ultimates to 1 compared to Pick and Mix. But that being said, we are going to be approaching a few. We are going to be coming up with the overdrive for Clean. So
yeah, that's going to be a big one.
That's going to be very big.
Hopefully, an engage potential for Pick and Mix, but they're all really grouped up on this B site for the time being. Aconite want to play aggressive on this save round, but not really able to do so, not able to catch on to Pick and Mix at all.
But you can see that Mars is now going to get completely surrounded, so unless the members of Aconite are able to back him up quickly, he's going to be all on his own. But he's managed to take out 1 before 2 of the members of Aconite's fall, spraying through the smoke. He's not going to find anyone, so 2 is all going to be getting so far for the side of Pick and Mix.
Yeah, you say that, but that's the power of the Odin. You're able to force so much positioning with that gunner's pants. Perfectly timed on the corner shot around onto Misu. They're just going to try and do a bit of a flip. Bands.
Oh, getting jiggy with it.
A little bit of a cheeky 360. Just for a bit of fun, Oh my goodness.
Got to put some flair into the game for them. So we can see that they still got the Blaze Storm. They have got the Overdrive now. We are going to be approaching the Seekers for the side of Zowie, but not many ultimates were expended other than the Empress from the side of Aconite. So we are going to be creeping towards 4 ultimates for the side of Aconite. So in these next couple rounds, it's going to be very much an ultimate game. But 4 rounds on the board, and now Pick and Mix have closed the gap to a 1-round deficit.
This is perfect. This is what you want, but tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm personally from an Overwatch background. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Aconite drop all 4 ultimates at the same time. That would be incredibly funny to watch.
Oh yes, that would be quite a lot of screen clutter, but the Overdrive is going to get popped now from Clean, so just running around in the middle of B site, just trying to clear all the angles, but it's going to be dissipated now as it creeps down, pulling back the Odin. Seekers getting popped out, finding their mark. Misu finds one, Hayden finds another. Zowie's going to find the trade, running through, but Hayden is going to pick themselves up a second. The Hunter's Fury, Hayden finding 3, Douse getting caught and targeted. And now Aconite pick themselves up from where they left off and put themselves in double digits now.
Yeah, that was a pretty perfect retake angle. I like that a lot from Pick and Mix though. That was a really nice start just to invest to rush all the way through onto B there, but they didn't exactly have much of the control on that post plant. They tried to play aggressive after that.
As soon as Clean popped that Overdrive, Aconite, they just backed off and gave space because they knew if they allowed Clean to reset that Overdrive ultimate, it is going to be devastating for them.
Yeah, so, massively so.
Good read.
But yeah, it was smart, and Aconite capitalized off of it, and now you've got this. They've taken back momentum. They've taken back that control that Pick and Mix have had this entire half, I would argue, as Daniel just gonna clean onto Pants. No. I can't even argue, but I say that.
Clean, taking control of sewers, just priming themselves, ready for Daniel to just peek themselves out. Well, Mars is going to get spotted by the Prowler. See, it's going to be, it's an Odin off.
Oh dear.
Spamming through the walls, waiting to see which one's going to get riddled with bullets, but you can start seeing that Pick and Mix are starting to reconvene over in A side, just waiting to see on the flank.
Yeah, it doesn't get spotted out though.
That's tight. That's Valorant timing at its finest right there.
Isn't it just? Could potentially catch him right in the back.
This is a really good flank angle if Misu stays hidden. Nice.
Very nice indeed. But that gives Pick and Mix all the intel they need. They know exactly where Misu is as Nebula.
They spot that gun barrel.
Yeah, able to pick up Spike and make a bit of a rush onto A here as Clean trying to spam through box, looking, but Doused the one to find the pick onto Mars with the AWP. They swing round as Bubs missing everything as the Headhunter cleans him up. And it's just Hayden left, does drop down, but Clean with it, and the Odin. There's just Misu left. We've seen wonders from this Reyna, but in a 3v1, you're not expected to win this. As Doused just finishing off with that AWP.
Very nicely done from Pick and Mix right there. Douse, you know, really kicking it off for that round. They were, you know, lagging behind for the majority of this game, but they're starting to find their stride, which is, you know, nice to see. You know, kicking things off, taking Mars out off site, allowing Pick and Mix to just storm right on in, forcing Aconite to play that retake game. And in terms of the way that the team cohesion, Pick and Mix are really starting to pick things up, and Aconite are slowly starting to fall apart. You know, Daniel, you know, being that star player for Aconite, now falling off. I think the nerves of being at LAN for the first time might be starting to get to them.
Oh, I don't know about that. It's a bit rushed to say, especially when Pick and Mix just blind little 5 of themselves. But you know what? They do make that push onto C for completely nothing. I say that though, Nebula on the stayed lurking in his own spawn. Catches out Misu. Cat trying to go for a flank angle, but that forces Daniel to take a pick here.
Yeah, having to play for retake. Douse.
That gives them all the intel though.
Yeah.
And they have Doused here with the op, not willing to let go of anything. As Clean just hiding into garage as Doused finds Mars as well. This is perfectly timed for Pick and Mix. As Hayden does get caught into garage window. Nothing you can do from there, especially when you're facing down an Odin.
No, there's really not much. Sheriff in hand, up against 4 members of Pick and Mix. There's nothing they can do. Bubs is just going to have to play for save, play for exit frags. Not going to be able to find any. They do here. Wait a second. Oh, shot's going to be missing. Nicely played from Zowie right there. You know, yeah, ambitious. You know,
I applaud that. I applaud you, Zowie. That was perfectly. That was what I wanted to see. I want to see some silliness at EPIC48, and that's exactly what we're seeing, especially when you're ahead like that. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, now that Pick and Mix have equalized the score for 10-10,
they're feeling themselves.
We've got a game on our hands here, Abby.
Do. And it's looking good, Pick and Mix. They've got the momentum and the control, and Aconite, a shadow of themselves from earlier in this game.
Pick and Mix really finding their stride. And now that we're starting to enter the final phases of this game, it's going to be really interesting to see how both teams are going to be piloting themselves. Mars, keep an eye up onto Heaven, but it's going to be forced out thanks to that relay bolt, but Douse is going to be finding Hayden, and Clean is just going to be riddling the walls, you know, doing a bit of a demolition job here on A site for Haven. Misu just letting it happen.
Well, trying to clean through the site, I suppose. But that does leave Misu a bit caught off to the side. Not spotted at all, and we'll be able to find that frag onto Clean.
That
is off to the angle, but Zowie,
these
not quite dropping a Babs, will do so now, but they're all in hell. Not quite waiting. Not quite letting them take anything here.
Recovery from Aconite. Now Douse is having to
say
walk
that.
up with the operator is going to miss, switch out to Headhunter, not be able to find anything, but Pant's able to find 2, but it's going to get traded, and down falls Pick and Mix. So Aconite pick themselves up 11-10. Now these final stages are going to be clinical.
Very much so. Hopefully we don't see quite as close as Pick and Mix as last game, but it feels like we're getting that way. I think part of it that I wanted to highlight there was just the different angles that Aconite took there. They went through sewer, they went through heaven, they went through main, they went through every single angle you possibly could. And Pick and Mix, they couldn't answer all of it at once.
No, I liked how Nebula used from the shadows to get into heaven on A site, take that upper control. And with that relay bolt, they were able to coordinate it to force Mars out, but after that initial engagement, it wasn't much more that Pick and Mix were able to, follow up on. And Border Force is coming out, and Clean is going so aggressive into Garage. They really want to just take this. They got the judge in hand, dodging and weaving the shots of the operator, but they just got met with an arsenal of bullets. Bubs able to trade, equalizing the scoreline in terms of the numbers on the other side, but Zowie able to find one thanks to the Seekers.
Yeah, that does force them back as well. Yep. Not quite able to make anything happen yet, but Mars will be able to spot off Zowie with that owl drone. Misu going to go for a blind, but it's a bit of a fake actually. They're trying to make a push through CT here.
Teleport's ready.
Nice, finding one. It's all up to Mars now. Again, Bulldog in hand. It's a good weapon.
I like the Bulldog, but it's not really a lot you can do with it.
It's not a great weapon. It's a good weapon. You can do work with it, but
not when you're facing down a tour de force and a series of Vandals. And that's exactly what we see. Pick and Mix taking the pick of the litter. There's nothing you can do there.
closing out the round, keeping that scoreline nice and close, 11-11, as we are approaching round number 23.
Indeed, make a wish and see what happens, and Pick and Mix's wish does seem to be getting answered. They made a massive comeback here, and there's absolutely nothing left for Aconite here.
No, I mean, in terms of economy, Aconite, they really need this round.
They
really need this round, because
they have to.
if they don't, this could be the closing act on this group stage match.
Indeed, it could. Mars gets blinded up, but that does get just a force back for the time being. They're not even willing to make that push onto A yet.
No, you can see where the spike is set, opting to just, get a feel, see where the members of Aconite are situated, go for an aggressive play first, wait out, and now we're going to go for that C-Rush. Every single member of Pick and Mix are rushing down C-Long, and Aconite are just going to have to let them take side. They're going to have to play for retake, and it's going to be quite disadvantageous at this point in the game.
They have to, unfortunately. They don't have the gun power, they don't have the manpower to make it happen, and
They can't match it.
they don't, not at all. They have to find these sort of hero plays as Misu. There we go, that's the start you need. Getting rid of the Neon on the flank. Perfect timing for Misu's Reina as they just try to swing out Daniel with that Vandal, but peeking out Pants gets the catch onto Daniel and Bubs. As it's traded out though. 3 up for Aconite, but do they have anything left in the tank? I say that Nebula Ball. It's just doused with that Operator. Looking for picks here, not able to find it immediately. Looking for shots, will be able to get Bubs, but not quite able to catch. Mars gets the pick, but it's a thrifty win to go to match point for Aconite. We're going to overtime if Pick and Mix want to mount any kind of anything here.
Oh, definitely, for sure. I mean, I did say that Aconite needed that round, and they were able to secure it. I mean, they are having to break the bank in order to, get themselves, the inventory that they need, but they have just enough to keep themselves in contention of taking this game. And if Pick and Mix wants to keep themselves going, they're going to need to take this to OT, Avi.
They're going to have to, unfortunately, but it's a full buy for everyone. Everyone has everything they need. This is how you want it. This is Valorant. This is what you want to see. Everyone having all the manpower you need. This Pick and Mix just going to rush straight on through with the Overdrive and Blade Storm.
I like how they've got a lurker set back, just waiting for someone to come through. But Misu is actually going to be cutting through guarded into Garage, so they're going to be completely missing it. So Daniel got a good angle with the Operator, but not going to be finding anything. Oh, but Douse is on such low HP, getting caught out there. And you can see that Aconite, they've been funneled into C-Link and Garage. Oh, and Clean rushing through, initiating the fight, and Pick and Mix are going to be sending us to OT unless Daniel has anything to say about it. Nothing was answered, and a team ace for Pick and Mix to put us into OT.
Absolutely perfect coordination from Pick and Mix. I don't think we could ask for much better as we get into overtime here as Pick and Mix. What can you say except they just funneled Aconite into a corner and they couldn't do a thing about it.
No, they could not. It was... They were suffocating them and putting them into essentially a tin of... putting them into a tin of sardines, essentially. Keeping them close, caught, and together, easy pickings, and Clean and Pants initiating that first engagement really nicely, sliding in, tailwinding in, catching them completely off guard, throwing them off their rhythm. That just allowed Pick and Mix to just completely dissect Aconite.
Yeah, not even that, because part of it as well, Aconite let them take control of that seaside for nothing. They didn't have to invest anything. They chose to, and it still worked out for them. This is impressive play from Pick and Mix, but Aconite do try and make a play up towards this A site as Zowie gets blinded out, not quite able to find a thing as Daniel dashes into hell.
A lot of shots, not much coming out of it except for elimination on the side of Aconite. They find a second, they find a third, and now the momentum is starting to shift over in Aconite's favour. Nebula is able to kick things off, finding a one for their team. Can they find a second? Yes, they can. A third is not on the table for them, and it's all up to Pants. Operator in hand. They can do a lot of work. Shot through the wall, and a miss!
Yeah.
And now we are on match point for Aconite.
Yeah, Mars knew exactly where that re-aggression was coming from, and Aconite, they are looking strong. They struggled early in the half, but they've come back that little bit more. Hopefully for them, they can make something here, because they are on this defensive half where they have struggled that little bit more. It's going to come down to how they control this aggression from Pick and Mix, and they're looking really trying to stack on this C site where Pick and Mix have massively mounted their offenses.
Oh yeah, I think they're trying to. I think Aconite now are trying to just match Pick and Mix toe for toe, and they're just running in. The relay bolt coming out. The Lear's going to be popped out. Hayden's going to find one onto Zowie. The Fascinator's coming out just to cover their, their sides. Making sure they limit the visibility as much as possible, and that is allowed Pick and Mix to rush through over onto A side. And Mars is the last bastion. He knows that the multiple members of Pick and Mix are running on. He's just going to have to back off because he knows if he falls, that's a lot of utility, a lot of recon, and a lot of information that's going to be lost. Mars, key player Nebula, using that teleport to move up to heaven.
But does Hayden know? That's the question.
It's a great question.
Does.
Oh, they're ready for it.
Gets the catch onto Nebula, losing track of your omen this early. It's massive, but clean. Nothing on the flank through B, and they're just going to stack straight through main here. Pants has nothing left as it's just doused. Who cannot do a thing about it is Aconite. They struggled early in this half, but the ones 7-0 down to nearly losing into overtime. But they close it. Finally, Aconite taking that win over Pick and Mix.
They clutch out just when they needed to. Offense from Pick and Mix in that final round. Really, really good. Looked like they were in control, but Aconite, cool, calm, collected, stone cold kills.
That's what you needed, especially after you struggled on those defensive sides. I don't think I've seen a better defense round than that one. That was perfectly executed from Aconite, and that was gorgeous to watch.
Oh, 100%. And it was fantastic to be able to commentate that match alongside you, Avi. So we will be going over to a short break. So this is us from EPIC48 with Intel, sponsored by ROG Overclockers and XP Pro Eyewear. If you have not had a chance, get yourselves a pair of these glasses. They are great.
They do look good on you. I was tempted to get a pair, but I can't see without mine. It's unfortunate.